Hey folks, it's Ben. Let me bring you back here to my steam locomotive Fiero. What we have here is a very sexy valve cover. Thank you. But what we actually have here is quite a bit of oil coming out there. No doubt we're getting, I didn't actually check the oil dipstick to see if we're getting any gas out of that, but I did check the PVC and it's of course chugging too. So I'm sure if I took the oil fill off, it would just be punching out the oil as well. So we have, I'm presuming, a lot of piston blow-by. Probably on cylinder number 4 that doesn't have any as lower compression than everyone else. That being said, this engine has 0 miles on it from it being abused from the prior owner, so it hasn't even had a chance to blow out any carbon or soot or anything that's in it, but it's just running so poorly at this time. So what we're gonna do is the right thing and give it a mechanical tune-up in a can, but not, we're gonna use Seafoam this time. So we're actually gonna pull the plugs, see if I can level the cylinders out fairly well, and we're just gonna plug them up full of Seafoam. And so we'll show you that. And I've got some top engine cleaner, and we're gonna stick that stick down there and see exactly how far I can get them. Does that go in? Because that would be great to shoot left and right. Or is that just holding it on? That's a great question. I think that's just the port. Is there one on this side? Not so much, but I'm trying to think, how do I get my hose down the throttle and over and into 1, 2, 3, or 4? And we'll just pound the top engine cleaner to it. Probably can just pound it right in there and it'll flow in. The car currently is a little bit nose down because another video coming up will be is we're gonna swap the transmission's more of a slot machine in terms of what gear am I in. So first thing, let's get all the basics right. So we'll change the fluid in that as well. But right now we can get this engine a soaking. It's kind of hot, so I gotta put gloves on, and we'll yank those plugs out and put some Seafoam in it. The story behind the red valve cover is that the car did not have a valve cover gasket on it. There were remnants of one in the trunk when I got the car, and it leaked like a sieve, like holy crap, when we finally got it to run, because all that oil. And with the possible blow-by by the pistons, it's just pumping the oil right up to the top of the motor. So even now, look, as they leave residue on my battery, the plugs themselves look okay. They're not gross, but they have very little time on them, but they're all soaked in oil because all that oil was just coming down and filling in every hole it could. So a lot of the oil back here I'm anticipating just because it's just leaking oil so bad for whatever time it's been running. Now with the valve cover, like if you're gonna take it off, might as well clean it up, paint it, put the gasket on there, sink it right back down where you go. But yeah, these things are just gross. I'm expecting to see what's on cylinder number 4. That's the one I think's a little low when she's running on 3. I'm pretty sure it's not running on number 4, but proof will be in the pudding here. But once again, we got like 5 minutes runtime on this, if that. And boy though, she gets hot quick, so we really ought to get these rings settled down hopefully, and that'll be our El Cheapo fix. All our plugs look good. I should probably tripod you guys actually. But what we're gonna do is be upside down, is we're just gonna take my super funnel here and my already open Seafoam. Look at that for getting the video ready ahead of time. And we're just gonna fill them, and we're gonna leave it sit here for a day or 2 or 3. And same with the intake. Get that squirted in here, but yeah, just gonna stick this down the hole, and yeah, I'll just get you on a tripod, and we'll just put a bunch in there, and I'm hoping the cylinders are close to where they need to be. Some will be up, some will be down. I'm hoping no one's total the way up. I could take the valve cover off and know for sure, but no, it'll be in there enough. So that's one good shot of Seafoam, and then we'll come back tomorrow and give it another shot, or actually probably come back later tonight off video and give it another shot. It's already steaming, so it's still nice and toasty warm. Let's hit the old throttle body with some juice make it happener. See what goes on with that. Next up is the Seafoam top engine cleaner and lube. Instead of using Seafoam now, I guess you use this stuff, and it comes with this cool big tube, and it actually has this plastic clip that lets you, unlike a normal car, you would clip it into your intake piping, and it would be right at the throttle plate, and you could squirt from here, and it would bypass a lot of stuff and just go through here. I'm going to take this plastic bit off, so now I just really have a long hose, and I can open up my throttle. In fact, I should probably Let me go grab a zip tie. We'll zip tie this open, and then we'll be able to just kind of poke around there and just nail it to it. Put the onions right in it, just go bam. So there's just a ton of that stuff in there. So between the seafoam on the cylinders and seafoam hopefully sitting on the back of the valves, we've got a good mixture going on here. I guess you could also technically use this to squirt into the cylinders. It should be the same, if not identical as this. I just happen to have a lot of that. So we'll go ahead and let it sit, and we'll catch you back here when we do some more work to it. We're back 2 full days later. We soaked the cylinders. I came back that night, soaked them again, came back the next day, spun the engine over a little bit just so the pistons would move in a direction, filled them up again. Now here we are today. Throwing the plugs back in it already. Sorry I didn't show you that. So the plugs are back in it. We also did the foam. Holy crap, I have to remember to take that zip tie off the throttle. So we got that going. Plus we got to stick the air intake on, because as much as I like making that all greasy, I don't. So we'll throw everything back on all together like a real car. And from there, we'll fire it up. I gotta check coolant too. I'll check oil while I'm here. Probably all the seafoam I put in it is now in the oil. That's my guess. Worked on the shifter a little bit yesterday too, so hopefully it'll shift out for us. Like to take it down the road. Need to get some runtime on this engine, because if I'm fighting carbon, sitting here getting crap poured all over it isn't gonna help anybody. So let's just go ahead, and I'm gonna snap my fingers and this intake will be on. Bam! Cool. So that's all put together-ish. So at least we won't spray oil everywhere. Coolant neck was empty down to here, but nothing went in the tube, so just in 2 inches, that's fine, I guess. Clamp down in. I have a vacuum line from the little thermistor in there that's not connected to anything, whatever. I think we're good to go. If we got power to turn it over. Oh, did I? Yeah, I put that car there, so I guess I have to go forward and back out. So we'll see how that goes. Anyway, I'll take you along for the ride. I had to grab my camera from my camera helper. So that was a fairly successful run, outside the fact that if you didn't shift fast enough, the engine died on you. And given that the battery had to get boosted just to start it, makes you a little nervous on the road that she might not, you know, crank over like you should and you're dragging the damn thing home. So, back at the ranch, let's get it started up again, if it will. And I got my top engine cleaner there, and we'll soak it tonight. So we'll get it a bunch in there, pretty hardcore, and then we'll swamp it dead. And we'll call it an evening for that. Pretty good though. It's run seized engine, right? From seized to this. Fantastic. I have never driven an Iron Duke before, so I'm stuck in the realm of, is it underpowered, or is that what an Iron Duke is, right? So I'm guessing it's underpowered, but that's fine. If it gets me 30, 35 miles per gallon, it can be all the underpowered it wants to be. So let's go ahead and get it started and idling. Then I can whip back here. Oops, do I have as much access to throttle as I normally do? Yeah. Okay, and then we can give her the liquid fun in a bottle, if we can get it to run. Let's give that a spin. I need 2 feet. Sometimes it needs to be gassed up a little bit. Deca jar. How about that? Oh, nope. Good call on the not doing that thing. Let me throw the booster on it. We'll get it fired up again. Well, the wind's not as good today. So after our trip yesterday, we weren't able to actually do a restart because the battery was completely flat. Probably not because it's not charging, but because I have to... It started more than it ran yesterday. Let's go with that. So let's go ahead, and I had it on 2 amps all day. That's 24 hours of charging, so that's pretty good. Let's go ahead and put the warm it up a little bit, kill it with Seafoam, and then we'll come back tomorrow and see how we do. Yeah, you guys are getting that on camera. A lot of that bad stuff's coming out of the air intake, which means it's coming out of the valve cover, which is not good, and it's not cranking very well. So I think our bearing issue might be showing up, maybe. I don't think we can save this engine. I think we're getting a little far from making it magical. The oil is fouled. Like, it's got like 10 minutes on it, but the oil's already fairly black, so we probably ought to change on that with the cheapest stuff we can find. But man, it's not looking good. We'll let it sit here. It's got the Seafoam in it, but yeah, not fantastic. I'm gonna go ahead and squirt some more Seafoam. You're supposed to dump the whole can in and then shut it down and let it hot soak and then fire it up 10 minutes later, but we got a bunch in it. That's good. It's not gonna magically start and be new, so we'll see where it goes, right? I honestly think that starter is cranking as hard as it can, not that the battery's low. it dies hard.
Yeah.
What? I think we gotta call it. That blow-by is intense. Like, it got worse. Know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I guess that's it for the It's Gonna Be a Runner series, because it doesn't look like it's gonna be. All that's coming out of the valve cover here. We had lots of gas coming out of the oil dipstick too. It's still coming out actually. So we're gonna have to refresh this engine. We're gonna have to pull the intakes off of it and stuff and lift it out and do some rings and some stuff, or find a transplant, which would be preferable for it. Another Iron Duke preferably, but something that'll fit in the hole and run a lot nicer than this one. So we'll wrap this one up, as the Miracle Liquid didn't work. Shucks, not surprised. It was seized, right? But it seized for a reason. So we will just go on with that. So if you want more interesting videos on this one or the other Fieros or all the million of other cars we own, subscribe to my channel, Turbo231. Comments and questions are always appreciated, and we will see you next time. How about we do a slow motion of it cranking? Let's do that.